Let's have a sesh on Hackman and Oldham's job design. So Hackman and Oldham came up with this model, and the idea is that the better a job is designed, the more motivating potential there is in that job. And if that potential becomes reality in that it has led to higher motivation, then it's the same old analysis string. So higher productivity, lower absenteeism, and higher staff retention. So the 5 characteristics that make up a superb job design are skill variety. So does the job offer variety, or is it incredibly repetitive, incredibly monotonous, boring? Task identity. So is there a clear focus to the job? And if it has a process, does the worker own the process from start to finish? Task significance. So does the job have a design in the way that the worker who does it understand why it's important, understand why it's significant to the organisation? These 3 are often bunched together. Bunched together because essentially if you meet these 3 factors, then work will become more meaningful. And if it becomes more meaningful, it will lead to higher motivation. Now, the 4th part of Hackman and Oldham's job design is autonomy. Autonomy in the sense that does the job design allow for independence to the worker, the person that does that job? Because if it does, then they are responsible for the outcomes. And if they are responsible for the outcomes, then hopefully it will lead to higher quality of final outcome. So the final one is feedback. So does the job design offer a system in which feedback is given to the worker? Because that's important, because they're going to understand how well they are performing and, more importantly, how they can improve in the future, in the long term. Because that means they will get better as time goes on, which will lead to more experience and therefore higher satisfaction. So they are the 5 factors of this model in how a job is designed. Other things to think about. The more factors, so more of these 5 that are hit in a job's design, will mean the more motivating potential there is in the job. But Hackman and Oldham did make an extension to this model. They appreciate that individuals are different. Individuals are different, how well you design a job. So they included this new dimension called the growth needs strength dimension. And essentially what this is that if you pick an individual that is going to handle a job that is well designed, well enriched, then it will lead to even greater benefits, that there are positive benefits if you pick someone with a high GNS score. However, if you pick an individual that maybe is not as responsive to an enriched job, they argue that it will still lead to more motivating potential, just not as much. So what they accept is the job has to be designed well, but then you still need to pick an appropriate individual. The better the individual, the more benefits you'll get in terms of motivating potential. Even if it's a low GNS score, they still say there is a positive correlation between job design and motivating potential. And the last thing to think about is a way to remember Hackman and Oldham's job design, which is very important: seagulls ate fish. And that's a good way to remember it, because very important seagulls ate fish and chips is a good way to make that extra analysis strand, because when you're thinking about Hackman and Oldham, please also consider Herzberg's intrinsic factors, because they very much relate. I hope that helps, and I'll see you at the next sesh.